My name is Lark Monroe, and Savannah smells like jasmine and hot sugar when the wedding season peaks. It's early June, the air thick enough to chew, and my studio off Whitaker Street hums with the soft whine of the walk-in cooler and the buzz of a tired fluorescent light I keep meaning to replace. Ribbon spools crowd the work table like candy. Thornless garden roses, blush peonies, and dogwood branches wait in buckets as if holding their breath. I own Lark and Vine. I build feelings out of flowers. That's the pitch anyway. At 6:07 a.m., my phone lights up with the kind of notification that feels like a mosquito in your ear. Mara tagged you in a post. Mara, my best friend since ninth grade geometry, the girl who once slept on my futon through 2 breakups and strep throat, the girl who knows my coffee order, my Netflix queue, and that my ex-fiancé Evan Pierce proposed to me on the dock at Isle of Hope, under a string of cafe lights he strung himself. Mara, who stopped calling me the week Evan and I split. The photo loads on a weak Wi-Fi ripple. A long rattan table beneath rows of live oaks at the Oglethorpe estate. The light is gold and merciless. Spanish moss dangles like blown glass curtains. And then, my heart trips. There, running the whole length of the table like a river of petals, is my design. My runner. My signature. A sinuous, low, movement-heavy arrangement of bleached ruscus, coral charm peonies, butter-yellow ranunculus, lisianthus, and unexpected fruit. Sliced blood oranges, whole apricots, and green figs. I invented the river runner after a hurricane. The year flowers were scarce, and my hands were desperate for something new. The caption is a lyric with a knife in it. Our love is our art. Everything we dreamed up, we did together. Mara and Even, Hosh, creative partners. Saw Oglethorpe Estate. I pinch the bridge of my nose, but the pressure doesn't stop the sting, because the next photo is the arch. It's a crescent of asymmetrical branches, covered with smilax, wild clematis, sweet peas, and the same butter and apricot palette, punctuated by a single trailing strand of white orchids like spilled milk. My mock-up sketch is in a brown notebook on the shelf behind me. The sketch I showed Evan when we were still us, weeks before I found the blister pack of birth control in his glove compartment, the one with Mara's name on the pharmacy label. Leaning in, I can see it all. The way the clematis vines arc on the left. The whisper of spirea like confetti. The exact placement of the orchids. No one dreamed this up together. I did. A third photo loads. They're under the arch, sunlight painting their hair. Evan is in a linen suit with a pocket square I picked out last spring. Mara's dress is simple, satin, cap sleeves. She looks like the version of herself that used to wear my sweaters and cry at dog commercials. They are smiling with their teeth. I drop the phone. It thunks into the butcher block, lands face up. The comments bloom like mold. Stunning. Did you two do the florals yourselves? So creative to use fruit. Love how organic, like it grew there. Pure art. Vendors, tag yourself. The florist tagged is nobody. I pick up the phone, thumbs shaking, and scroll again, faster, as if speed will make the images less real. There's a video now, a drone shot that skims over the estate lawn. It's a fantasy sequence. The arch framed by live oaks, the river runner, the small arrangements tucked like secrets into windowsills. Even the place cards are dressed with tiny wired sprigs of dill and chamomile. Another signature. Mine. Evan's voice floats from somewhere off camera. We always wanted to make something that was ours. I can hear him saying it to me in a different life. In a workshop, dust motes dancing, his arm around my waist. Let's make something that's ours, he'd say, and I would think, yes, yes, yes. My chest tightens so hard I have to remind myself to breathe. There's a knock on the studio door. My assistant, Mateo, sunburned and bright-eyed, holding a donut he pretends is for me. "Morning, boss," he chirps, then reads my face. His smile falls. "What happened?" I turn the phone around. He makes a noise somewhere between a cough and a curse. Is that your river?" "My river." My voice sounds like it crawled through gravel. "They didn't tag you?" he says. "They didn't pay me," I say, and it comes out half laugh, half sob. Mateo steps closer. "Do you want me to blast them on our stories?" "Because I will." "No." My mouth feels dry as chalk. No more attention. Not yet. I'm not sure why not yet. Maybe because my heart is a shaking animal, and animals go quiet when they're wounded. I scroll again because I can't stop, the same way your tongue keeps worrying a chipped tooth. There's a clip of the ceremony. "Family," the officiant says, "we gather as witnesses to the creative partnership of Mara and Evan." Evan kisses her like he used to kiss me, hand in the hair, not the waist. My stomach heaves. The phone buzzes with a text. From unknown. "Hey Lark. Wanted you to hear from me before you see the photos online. I know this is weird, but we really felt like the designs were something we'd all talked about. A shared process. You're so talented. I hope we can be friends again." My vision goes white at the edges. A shared process. The first time Evan told me Mara had opinions about our mood boards, I laughed. Then I watched him let her put her hands on my work. When I caught them, she cried and he said nothing, and I left. We never once used the word shared after that. I take a breath that tastes like cold metal and walk to the shelf. The brown notebook is exactly where I left it. Rubber band. Tabbed with post-its. The river runner sketch is page 12. The arch is 14. The tiny wired sprigs are a sketch on 17. The dates are in the top right corner in my neat tiny handwriting. February 14th, March 2nd, March 19th. Evidence. "Do you want me to make coffee?" Mateo asks, voice careful, like I'm a wild horse he doesn't want to spook. "Please," I say. Strong. He moves to the counter. The machine hisses like an affectionate cat. I flip to the back of the notebook and find the contract template I built after a planner stiffed me my first year. Scope usage, payment, intellectual property. I wrote that clause myself at 2 a.m., hunched over my laptop with a YouTube lawyer explaining the difference between inspiration and theft. The contract I sent Evan last spring, back when he was still mine. He never signed. "Feels too formal," he said, kissing my forehead. "It's us." I can still feel the ghost of that kiss on my skin like a burn. "Here," Mateo says, setting a mug near my hand. "Do you want me to call Ruby?" Ruby Chen. Planner, friend, shark in lipstick. She knows everybody and everything in this town. Not yet, I say again, and I realize I'm not just an animal going quiet. I'm a musician listening for an opening note. The moment when the noise becomes music. Outside, a trolley clanks past, tourists in straw hats pointing at the live oaks. A mist of water from the cooler kisses my arms as it cycles. I take a swallow of coffee that scalds the roof of my mouth and somehow brings me back to my body. "Okay," I say, to the room, to the morning, to my shaking hands. "Okay." There's work on the table. 9 bridal bouquets for a double ceremony at Forsyth Park. 20 bud vases for a rehearsal dinner on Jones Street. A chuppah for a Sunday morning elopement under the cathedral steps. My people. My couples. My art that continues, even when mine is stolen. I tie the first bouquet with silk dyed the color of peaches. My fingers remember what truth feels like. The flowers do that thing they always do, where stubborn beauty outruns everything ugly. Mateo puts his hand on the table. "You're going to do something, right?" I look at him. "Oh, I'm going to do something." The day blurs. My muscle memory carries me through. I deliver the Forsyth bouquets, just as the fountain kicks on, and a breeze carries cool water into my hair. Brides cry in the good way. I tuck a note into a groomsman's pocket so he doesn't forget the ring. People hug me with their mouths, saying, thank you, you're magic." In between stops, the comments multiply. Vendors jump in. A photographer friend DMs me, "Did you do this? Because if so, where's your tag?" A caterer posts a reel from the estate. Food and florals twinned, and credits say, "Concept by the couple." At dusk, I park by the river and let the heat of the day leak out of the sky. River Street is loud with bachelor parties. My headache is a tight, mean crown. My email pings. Savannah Garden Show. Call for artists. This year's theme is Roots and Reckonings. Submit site-specific floral installations by July 1st for selection to exhibit at the Whitfield grounds. Roots and Reckonings. The words sit in my chest like a match and a strike pad. An idea arrives fully formed, like a bouquet my hands already know how to build. A piece that looks lovely at first glance, and then, like a secret message revealed by lemon juice and heat, tells the whole story. A river of blooms interrupted by cold, unnatural elements. Contracts woven like ribbons, a mirror, a second arch that refuses to face the first. A reckoning. My phone vibrates again. A private number. I let it go to voicemail because my body knows even before my brain catches up that it will be sharp and legal. The transcript appears. It's a lawyer from Pierce & Lowe, Evan's cousin's firm. "Ms. Monroe, this is a courtesy call. We're aware of chatter online suggesting you claim ownership of certain design elements used at the Pierce wedding. Any public allegation will be considered defamatory. We expect your discretion. A formal letter is en route." Defamatory. My laugh scares a pair of seagulls enough to send them flapping into the dark. Behind my ribs, the shaking animal raises its head. The musician stops listening and stands. I turn the key in my ignition and the dashboard glows cobalt. The studio is 10 minutes away. My printer is stocked. My iron is hot. If they want formal, I will give them formal. If they want art, I will give them the truth. When I pull up to the curb, a courier in a navy polo is waiting with a slim, ominous envelope. He checks my name, hands it over, and leaves me with the weight of it and the blinking street lamp that still hasn't been fixed. Inside the studio, the cooler hums like a held breath. Mateo's note on the whiteboard says, "You are made of more than their lies." I slide my thumb under the envelope flap and feel the crisp bite of paper-cut skin. I open it. My eyes scan the first line, and I stop breathing. Where did they get my signature? The letter smells like toner and arrogance, Pierce and Lowe, heavy stock, the kind of serif that thinks it's smarter than you. I lay it flat on the work table and smooth the edges with my palm, the way I smooth wrinkled petals. Mateo hovers close enough to read over my shoulder, pretending he isn't. "Cease and desist," I read out loud, because saying the words helps my brain file them. "Any public statements implying ownership or exclusive authorship of floral designs used at the Pierce wedding constitute defamation." Attached is a license agreement signed by Ms. Monroe granting usage of concepts and sketches as a shared work product. My name in black, elegant print. Below it, my signature. It looks right. The swoop of the L, the impatient slash of the K, the loop on the M that I only added last year because a calligrapher told me loops were friendlier. "Is that yours?" Mateo whispers. "It's not," I say, and the edges of the room sharpen like I've stepped outside after rain. "I didn't sign this." There's a notary seal, embossed, raised like braille. The date is March 10th. 2 weeks after I moved out. 2 weeks after I left my key on his counter. I flip to the last page. There's the list of licensed materials: river runner concept, arch sketch, wired sprigs, color palette, miscellaneous organic asymmetry, which is a fancy way of saying vibes. I feel my pulse in my gums. What do we do? Mateo asks. We call Ruby, I say. He's already tapping her name. The ringtone is a tinny bossa nova that makes me want to throw the phone in the cooler. Tell me you didn't open that letter alone, Ruby says when she picks up. Her voice is lacquered rage. I was about to call you. I saw the posts. I opened it, I say, with Mateo. And my signature is on a license I didn't sign. Silence. Then, text me a photo. Now I text it. The 3 dots bubble like a nervous laugh. I know that notary, Ruby says, and I can hear her heels start moving. Name's Shelley. I met her last month at a planner brunch. She's legit. And she would not notarize a ghost. I'm calling her. Ruby, stay put, she says. And Lark, don't post. Not yet. Paper is power. She hangs up. I stare at my name on the page again. I remember exactly when I made a clean PDF of my signature last year, the day I designed new proposal templates. I saved it in a folder called Branding. Evan helped me color correct some photos that same night. He had my laptop, my passwords, my Dropbox. The ache in my chest shifts into something like heat. I open my laptop and search. Branding, assets, signatures. There it is, the PNG, my tidy name floating on a transparent background like a ghost that wants to be useful. I lean back. He didn't just steal ideas, I say to the ceiling. He stole my hand. Mateo doesn't say I'm being dramatic. He says, want me to pull metadata on that PNG? See when it was accessed? Yes, I say. Please. He takes my computer like a mission. I love that kid. The cooler kicks on with a soft whoosh, and I realize my hands are trembling again. I press my palms flat to the table and feel the grain. Breathe in. Jasmine, damp greenery, a ghost of coffee. Breathe out. That tight, metallic taste loosens a fraction. My phone buzzes with 2 messages at once. Ruby. She did not notarize anything for Evan. She's coming by your studio. Unknown number. Are you available to consult on a large garden installation? Creative theme, reckoning. Budget, flexible. I laugh, a hard little sound. The universe is on a comedy kick. Mateo looks up. What? Nothing, I say. Everything. Another ping. Email. Savannah Garden Show. Artist submission window open. The subject line feels like a brass doorknob in my hand. Okay, I tell the room. We're doing both. Both? Mateo says. We're going to protect my name, I say. And we're going to make something so beautiful they choke on it. He grins like a pirate. Now we're talking. I pull the brown notebook close and flip to a blank page. The pen feels heavier than usual. I write roots and reckonings in big block letters. Underline twice, then sketches. A river runner, yes, but interrupted. Clean, pretty lines, sliced by something wrong. Not fishing line. Paper. Contracts, cut into ribbons, woven through the blooms. The viewer can read the clauses if they lean in. Opposite the arch, they took my crescent. I draft a perfect mirror image, but turned away, backs touching, refusing to face. One side smothered in silk and sweetness, the other side honest, bare branches, wax drips, visible mechanics. The truth of labor. Fruit again, but this time some of it is ceramic. The eye can't tell at first. Only if you touch do you learn what's real. At the base, a low pool of water with lemons dunked like secrets. When the sun hits, ink washes out from hidden parchment. Sketch dates, notes, small, undeniable facts bleeding into the pool. Mateo leans over my shoulder. It's a confession booth, he says, and a courtroom. It's a mirror, I say, and a map. The bell on the studio door jingles. A woman in a pencil skirt and sandals steps in, cheeks pink from the heat. She's early 40s, hair in a neat twist, a notary stamp case in her hand. "Shelley," she says, offering me a hand. "Ruby said this was urgent. I'd say nice to meet you, but the circumstances." I hand her the letter. She puts on reading glasses and scans, lips thinning. When she reaches the seal, she snorts so inelegantly it makes me like her instantly. "That is my seal," she says, "but that is not my signature. And I did not stamp this paper." "You're sure?" I ask, absurdly, as if she might mistake her own name. She looks at me over the glasses. "Honey, I'd know my penmanship in a power outage." She taps the date. "And I was at my daughter's chorus concert that night. I have the Facebook Live to prove it." Ruby's voice crackles through the door a second later, the sound of bracelets and purpose. She kisses the air near my cheek and shakes Shelley's hand like they've been friends for years. "Good," Ruby says. "We have a notary saying it's fake." "Lark, we go two-pronged, legal and public." "Legal first," I say. "Legal always first," Ruby agrees. "I've got an IP attorney, Priya Patel. Smart, quiet, deadly. I'll text an intro. In the meantime, we gather. Sketches with dates, emails, screenshots, metadata, witness statements. Shelley, can you write a sworn affidavit about the stamp and signature?" "Already started drafting it in my head," Shelley says. Mateo waves my laptop like a flag. "Got it," he says. "Your signature file was accessed March 8th at 11:34 p.m. from Evan's MacBook. The Dropbox log shows the share link created the same minute to an email that looks like, wait, Pearson Lois is at dot 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 They were efficient little thieves. Heat floods my face. Behind the anger, something softer smarts. Humiliation. He didn't just betray me, he made a spreadsheet out of it. I want to post, I say, and I hear the hunger in my voice. I want to tell everyone. You will, Ruby says, with precision, with receipts, and with a story they can't twist. She points to my sketches. This, the garden show. It's a public stage, but it's yours. We'll time the legal demand with the installation reveal. Public letter, yes, but not a rant. A letter to our community about authorship, labor, and love. You will not say defamation once. You will say documentation 80 times. Mateo claps once quietly. I love when you two go full witch counsel. I swallow a laugh that tastes like tears. What if they try to stop the show? Ruby smirks. Let them try. The show is run by people who like art and dislike bullies. And if they back down, we make it a different show somewhere else. My backyard, the cathedral steps, River Street. I don't care. We will be astonishing. My phone vibrates again. A text from a number I still haven't saved, but that my bones know. Evan. Can we talk? I let the screen turn black. Obstacle, I say softly, almost to the flowers. He's a walking obstacle. Filter him, Ruby says. Through Priya, through me, through a wall. I nod. The afternoon tilts toward evening. The studio hums with a new purpose. Shelley scribbles a statement. Mateo prints Dropbox logs and tucks them into a manila folder like a proud archivist. Ruby paces and dictates bullet points for the demand letter that Priya will transform into a scalpel. Somewhere in there, I cut my thumb on a bind wire and watch a bead of blood rise, startlingly bright against the white of a ranunculus. It feels clean, honest, a proof of life. Submit the proposal tonight, Ruby says. Don't wait. I open the garden show submission portal. The form is simple: title, concept, materials, dimensions, artist statement, title. A river relearns its name. Concept: a mirrored arch that refuses to face what exploited it. A floral river interrupted by cut legal paper woven through petals. Ceramic fruit hiding among real. Water that reveals ink. A celebration of authorship and the labor behind beauty. Materials: seasonal blooms in apricot and butter. Smilax, clematis, orchids. Contract paper, ceramic fruit, mirrors, hex keys, fishing weights, bowline knots. Patience. Artist statement: I build feelings out of flowers. I'm building truth out of them now. I hit submit. The button blinks, then turns into confetti on the screen. Cute. Savannah loves a little theater. The bell jingles again. A courier with a second envelope. This one thinner, faster. He hands it over like it might bite. Inside is a single page from Pearson Lowe. Notice of intent to seek injunctive relief. Ruby reads over my shoulder. Of course. They want to scare you off the stage. Do we back down? Mateo asks. I look at the sketches. I look at my name. I look at the place where my thumb is still smudged red on a petal, a tiny wound becoming part of the design. No, I say. My email dings. Savannah Garden Show, submission received. Then another. Savannah Garden Show, follow-up. I click. Dear Miss Monroe, the follow-up says, we are thrilled by your concept. Before we proceed, we want to disclose that one of this year's event underwriters is Oglethorpe Holdings, represented by Mr. Evan Pierce. If selected, your installation would be exhibited on opening night. Ruby lets out a low whistle. That's spicy. My phone buzzes once more. Unknown number. We need to talk. I forged your signature. The text sits on my screen like a snake coiled on warm stone. We need to talk. I forged your signature. For a second, I think it's a trick. Spam. A prank. Some cruel cosmic echo. But the sender ID matches the earlier unknown number. My stomach does a slow, queasy somersault. Mateo leans over. Who's that? I tilt the phone toward him. He reads. His eyes widen. Oh, hell no. Ruby, who has been dictating notes into her phone, stops mid-sentence. Let me see. I hand it over. She squints, lips pressed together, then shakes her head. If Evan is stupid enough to put that in writing, we bottle it. Do not respond. Screenshot, save, triple back it up. Mateo, upload it to a drive with permissions locked tighter than the Federal Reserve. Mateo salutes with 2 fingers and snatches the phone. My chest feels hollow, like someone scooped out the middle. I should feel triumphant, proof, in his own words. But instead, I feel tired, bone-tired. The door creaks as Shelley slips out quietly, murmuring about sending her affidavit by morning. She leaves the faint scent of lemon lotion behind. Ruby sits across from me, eyes sharp but softer now. What's going on in that head of yours, Lark? I rub my temples. He confessed. But it doesn't feel like winning. It feels gross, like I'm holding a rotten peach and everyone wants me to take a bite. Justice isn't always clean, Ruby says. Sometimes it's sticky and it stinks. Her phone buzzes. She checks it. Priya can meet you tomorrow morning. Don't say a word to him before then. Promise me. I nod. But when Ruby and Mateo leave a little after 8, the silence in the studio is unbearable. The cooler hums, the street lamps buzz, and my mind runs in vicious circles. He forged my name. He stole my work. He married my best friend under an arch that was mine. And still, some twisted corner of my heart whispers, he texted me. Not her. Me. I hate that part of me. At 9:02, another text arrives. Evan, please. One conversation, tonight, at the square. I stare at it so long my eyes blur. Then I grab my keys. Chippewa Square is almost empty at night. The benches slick with humidity. The lamplight makes the moss glow greenish gold, and the bronze statue of Oglethorpe keeps silent watch. My sandals slap against brick as I cross the square. He's already there, leaning against the fountain, jacket off, sleeves rolled. He looks like the version of himself that used to bring me iced tea during wedding installs, pretending to help just to be near me. For a moment, I almost forget. Then he straightens, and I remember everything. Lark, he says. His voice is low, almost reverent. Thank you for coming. I shouldn't have, I say. He nods, as if he knew I'd say that. You're right, but I had to try. I cross my arms. You forged my name. His jaw tightens. Yes. You stole my work. Yes. You married Mara under my designs and you let the world believe they were yours. Yes. His voice cracks on that one. I blink. I expected denial, gaslighting, lawyer talk. Instead, he looks like a man caught in a storm he started and can't outrun. Why? The word tastes bitter. He scrubs a hand through his hair. Because I was afraid. Afraid of losing everything. Mara. She wanted a wedding that looked like it belonged in Vogue. She wanted proof I could deliver beauty, stability, power. And I knew you'd never sign off if I asked to use your work. I thought if I controlled the story, I could control the outcome. That's not fear, I snap. That's theft. His eyes glisten. I know. And I hate myself for it. A silence stretches between us, filled only by the drip of the fountain. He steps closer. I didn't love her the way I loved you. My breath stutters. Don't you dare. It's the truth, he insists. She was easy. She was already there when you left. And I thought if I built something with her, something that looked perfect, maybe I could fill the hole you left. I flinch like he struck me. I never wanted to hurt you, he says. But everything about that wedding, every flower, was really you. I couldn't let go. Tears burn my eyes, hot and humiliating. So you married my best friend to stay close to my art? He opens his mouth, closes it, looks down. That's my answer. I turn to leave. Wait. His voice echoes off brick. Let me make it right. I'll withdraw the injunction. I'll tell the garden show board the truth. I'll give you whatever you need. Just don't destroy me publicly. I stop at the edge of the square. My whole body trembles. Part of me wants to say yes, to accept the easy out. But another part, the part that's been silent too long, whispers. He wants mercy without consequence. He wants forgiveness without repayment. I don't answer. I walk away. Back in the studio, I find Matteo still there, pretending to reorganize ribbon spools. He takes one look at me and doesn't ask. He just makes tea. I sip it slowly, the steam fogging my glasses. Did you get what you needed? He asks finally. Not yet, I say. But I got what I deserved. I pull out my notebook and draw a new addition to the installation. A pair of hands, sculpted from wire, reaching toward each other but never touching. One clean, one smeared with ink. A reminder. At midnight, my inbox dings again. From Savannah Garden Show. Subject, selection notice. I open it. Dear Miss Monroe, we are pleased to inform you that your installation, A River Relearns Its Name, has been selected for exhibition on opening night. I let out a shaky laugh, half joy, half terror. Then my phone buzzes. Another text. Mara, we need to talk. It's about Evan. Mara's text glares at me like neon. We need to talk. It's about Evan. For a long moment I don't move. My tea has gone cold in my hands, and the only sound in the studio is the low hum of the cooler. Mateo leans against the doorframe, ribbon spool in one hand like a nervous tick. "Who's it from?" I show him. He whistles low. "Now the snake's wife wants in." "She was my best friend," I say, though the word feels like glass in my throat. He studies me. "Are you going to answer?" "I don't know." Because part of me wants to throw my phone into the river. But another part, curious, aching, masochistic, wants to hear what she could possibly say after everything. I put the phone down on the work table like it might bite me. By morning, I haven't slept. My appointment with Priya Patel, Ruby's lawyer friend, is at 9 sharp. She's younger than I expected. Late 20s, hair in a blunt bob, blazer sharp enough to cut fruit. Her office smells faintly of sandalwood and paper. Ruby is already perched in a chair across from her, red lipstick immaculate, like she's been awake for days on pure spite. Priya adjusts her glasses. "Let's get the facts straight first. You created original designs, sketches, dated, saved. You shared them only with Evan at the time of your engagement. Post-breakup, those designs were used without attribution or payment at his wedding to Mara. They've circulated publicly as his and Mara's creative vision. Correct?" "Yes." My voice sounds steadier than I feel. And then, she slides the cease and desist across the desk. "This. Forged," I say. My signature, pulled from my files. "And then last night," Ruby adds, "he texted her a confession." Priya's eyebrows arch, but she doesn't flinch. "May I see it?" I hand over my phone. She scrolls once, nods, and sets it down gently. "That's remarkable. People rarely hand over admissions so easily." Her tone is calm, but my pulse spikes anyway. "So what happens now?" I ask. "2 tracks," she says. "Civil and criminal." "Civil. We demand acknowledgement, retraction, damages. Criminal. Forgery is a felony in Georgia. If we involve law enforcement, Evan could face charges." The room feels suddenly smaller. Ruby leans forward, eyes glittering. I say we scorch him. Priya tilts her head toward me. "But the choice is yours. Do you want to burn him down or just reclaim your name and move forward?" The question hangs heavy. I picture Evan's face in the square, his voice breaking as he admitted everything. I picture Mara's text waiting on my phone. And I picture my installation, the river of blooms telling the truth without me having to speak a single word. "I don't want to be defined by him," I say slowly. "I want my art back. My dignity. Not a trial that drags me through his mud." Priya nods. "Then we file a civil demand. But know this. If they push, we still have the forgery card. That's leverage." Leverage. The word feels like a lifeline. Ruby grins. "I like you, Priya. You're sharp." "Sharp gets results," Priya replies simply. When I leave the office, Savannah is already sweltering. The smell of honeysuckle drifts thick through the streets. I walk without a destination until I end up by the river. My phone buzzes again. "Mara, please, I need you to hear me out. Meet me at the Sentient Bean? Noon?" The name of our old coffee haunt lands like a gut punch, the place we used to sit for hours, splitting almond croissants, sketching dresses and flowers, making lists of dream weddings we'd never have. I should ignore her. I should delete her message. Instead, I type back before I can stop myself. 1 hour. Noon. The Sentient Bean is crowded, as always. Indie posters peel from the bulletin board, and the air smells like espresso and patchouli. I claim a table by the window, hands wrapped tight around an iced latte that sweats onto my palms. She arrives 5 minutes late, sunglasses huge, hair pulled back like she's in mourning. When she slides into the seat across from me, I almost don't recognize her. "Lark," she says softly. I don't answer. Her hands tremble as she unwraps a napkin. I know you hate me. You should. But you need to know. Evan lied to me too. I almost laugh. Oh, really? How's that? She leans closer, voice low. He told me you'd given us your blessing. He said you wanted the designs shared, that it was your way of moving on. He showed me a contract with your signature. I believed him. My chest tightens. You believed him enough to marry him. Her eyes flash wet. Do you think I would have walked down that aisle if I'd known the truth? He promised me everything was his to give, and when I found out, when I saw the texts between you two last night, I realized. She breaks off, biting her lip. Realized what? I press. That he's still in love with you, she whispers. The words punch the air out of me. Mara grips her coffee cup so hard the lid warps. I don't care about him anymore, but I care that he used both of us, and I want to help you take him down. Her eyes lock onto mine, raw, desperate. Part of me wants to spit in her face. Part of me wants to believe her. Instead, I ask the only question that matters. Why should I trust you now? She reaches into her bag and pulls out a folder. Because I have emails. Proof he coordinated with his cousin's firm. Proof he bragged about using your sketches. And proof he planned to use your name to get sponsorship for the garden show. My heart stutters. She slides the folder across the table. I stare at it like it might detonate. Take it, she says. It's yours. Do whatever you want with it. Just don't let him win. I put my hand on the folder. My fingers are shaking. Before I can answer, my phone buzzes with another message. Savannah Garden Show Committee. Due to sponsor concerns, we request a meeting regarding your installation. Urgent. Mara watches my face pale. What is it? I close the folder, my voice thin. They're already trying to shut me down. The folder from Mara sits heavy in my tote bag, edges biting into my thigh as I walk back through Forsyth Park. I don't open it. Not yet. I'm not ready to know what's inside. The email from the Garden Show Committee glows on my phone screen. Due to sponsor concerns, we request a meeting regarding your installation. Urgent. Sponsor concerns. Translation. Evan's money has strings, and they're trying to wrap them around my throat. The committee meets in a white columned building off Troop Square. Inside, the conference room smells faintly of floor wax and wilted tulips. 4 people sit at the long table, 3 I know by reputation, 1 I know by sight. Evan, in his polished linen, pretending to be just another patron of the arts. I keep my chin high as I slide into the chair opposite him. Ruby is beside me, red lipstick sharp as a blade, notebook already open. Ms. Monroe, says a woman with pearl earrings, we appreciate your submission. It's compelling. However, we've received communications from Oglethorpe Holdings, one of our primary sponsors, expressing concern about potential defamatory content in your proposed installation. I bite back a laugh. Defamatory? It's flowers. Symbolic flowers, Evan interjects smoothly. His voice is warm honey, the kind that makes bees drown. This is a celebration, not a courtroom. We don't want art that stirs division. Ruby snaps her pen closed like a gavel. What you call division, we call truth. And art has always been truth dressed beautifully. Unless this committee believes censorship is the proper soil for creativity. The pearl-eared woman shifts uncomfortably. Evan leans forward. Lark, this isn't about silencing you. It's about tone. Surely you can find another way to showcase your talent without dragging personal history into the public eye. My chest tightens. He's trying to paint me as unprofessional, hysterical, a scorned woman lashing out. I take a breath that tastes like iron. With respect, this is my art. My river, my arch, my voice. You don't get to take that and then tell me how to speak. If this committee values originality, you'll let my work stand on its own. The room hangs silent. Ruby's gaze slices through them like glass. Finally, the chairwoman clears her throat. We will deliberate further. Thank you for your time. Dismissed. Just like that. I rise, spine rigid, and walk out without another glance at Evan. Outside, Ruby exhales a curse sharp enough to crack concrete. They're wobbling. He's got money, but you've got a story. Committees love a good story. Do they love lawsuits? I mutter. Only if they're not named in them, Ruby replies. Back at the studio, I finally open Mara's folder. Emails, printed and highlighted. Subject lines like knives, concept steal. Use her sketches, she won't notice. Fake contract, handled. Screenshots of group threads. Evan bragging to his cousin. She's too soft to fight. She'll back down like always. My stomach flips, always. And then, one email that freezes me cold. Garden show board. Attach Lark's name for credibility. She won't care as long as we say it's collaborative. Promise Mara she'll be credited later. Later. As in, never. I shove the papers away before I gag. Mateo looks up from wiring boutonniere. Bad? Worse than bad, I whisper. It's proof. He sets down his tools. Proof can cut both ways. What are you going to do with it? I don't answer. Because I don't know yet. That night, sleep won't come. My head spins with words. Defamation, injunction, leverage, betrayal. At 2 a.m., I drive to the Whitfield grounds, the site of the garden show. The gates are locked, but I slip through a gap in the fence. Moonlight paints the hedges silver. The stage for installations is a skeleton of scaffolds and ropes, waiting. I stand in the center, arms folded tight, and try to picture my piece here. Alive, defiant, undeniable. But then I picture Evan, smiling at donors. Mara, silent in the shadows. The committee whispering about tone. I sink to my knees on the damp grass. Maybe I'm not strong enough. Maybe this city only has room for art that looks pretty on postcards, not truth that bites. My phone buzzes in my pocket. A message from an unknown number again. This time, not Evan. We believe in you. Don't let him win. Attached is a photo, my river runner design, from 3 years ago. The one that went viral after a hurricane wedding. Anonymous, but someone remembers. Someone knows. And in that moment, on my knees in the moonlit garden, I feel the first surge of something stronger than fear. Not revenge, not even anger. Resolve. When I stand, my knees are wet with grass, but my spine feels made of steel. I'm building it, I whisper to the dark, and they're going to see. At dawn, Ruby finds me in the studio, sketching furiously, hands stained with ink. Good, she says simply. We'll need everything sharp by Friday. Because if Evan wants war at the garden show, she taps the folder of damning emails, we'll give him war in flowers and ink. I nod, exhausted but lit from within. Then Mateo bursts in, phone in hand, eyes wide. You need to see this, he says. On the screen, a local wedding blog. Headline in bold. Pierce wedding designs accused of plagiarism, community divided. And below it, my name. By noon, my phone is a grenade. The blog post spreads faster than spilled ink. Comments flood in, some defending me, others sneering about jealousy and wedding drama. Vendors DM me screenshots, photographers tagging my name under Evan and Mara's photos, planners posting solidarity, but brides-to-be also DM me, terrified, asking if their deposits are safe, if their designs will be stolen next. I answer each one, careful and calm, even as my pulse skitters. Ruby paces the studio like a general. This is good. Controversy is gasoline. We just have to light the right match. Mateo scrolls Twitter. Evan's firm released a statement. They're saying no wrongdoing and that the designs were co-created as a labor of love. He snorts. They're playing the romance card. My stomach twists. Romance doesn't forge signatures. At that moment, Mara walks in. No warning, no knock. Just her, pale and sharp around the edges. The room goes still. Ruby folds her arms. You have some nerve. Mara ignores her. She looks at me. He's panicking. I can get you more. Contracts, drafts, notes. He never locks his laptop. You want a smoking gun? I'll hand it to you. Why? I ask flatly. Her eyes shine. Because he ruined me too. And because I need someone to win against him, even if it's not me. I study her, searching for lies, but all I see is desperation. Bring me everything, I say at last. That night, I draft the letter. Not a rant, not a scream, a statement, a reclamation. To my community, florals are not decoration, they are labor, vision, and authorship. My designs were taken, paraded as a collaboration that never existed. The truth is documented in sketches, contracts, and confessions. This is not gossip. This is theft. I share this not for pity, but for accountability. Art deserves its maker. Roots deserve their soil. And I will not be silent while others profit from my hands. Ruby edits it down to a blade. Mateo formats it with my logo. Mara, strangely, silently, sends me a file dump from Evan's laptop, including one email that makes my blood boil. If Lark pushes, we bury her. She doesn't have the stomach for a fight. The next day, the garden show site buzzes with hammers and scaffolds. Installations bloom like strange new species. My plot is bare for now, but in 2 days, it will hold my reckoning. As I unload crates, Evan appears. Linen suit, smug smile. You still have time to pull out, he says softly. Save yourself the humiliation. I straighten. I'm not the one who forged signatures. His smile falters, just for a second. Then he leans close enough for me to smell the faint cologne I once loved. Careful, Lark. When you aim to ruin someone, you better not miss. I meet his eyes, unflinching. I never miss with flowers. That night, I post the letter. By morning, it's everywhere. Number sign Roots and Reckonings trends on local feeds. Brides, vendors, even strangers repost it with messages of solidarity. A local paper runs it in full. And Evan's firm? Silent. But the silence feels like the quiet before a storm. Opening night of the garden show glitters like champagne poured too fast. Lights string overhead. Donors in linen dresses and seersucker jackets wander with cocktails, murmuring approval at installations shaped like dragonflies and seashells. Mine waits at the far end, under the oaks. A river relearns its name. The mirrored arches rise, backs to each other. One side lush, saccharine, polished to perfection. The other raw, branches exposed, orchids tangled with paper ribbons, my contracts sliced and woven through stems. The river runner flows between them, flowers alive with apricot and butter tones, fruit shining under lantern light. But every few feet, a ceramic piece interrupts the line, cold and false. At the base, water pools clear, until the hidden ink begins to bleed. My sketches bloom ghost-like under the surface, words and dates unfurling like secrets set free. Gasps ripple through the crowd, phones lift, murmurs grow. It's beautiful. It's devastating. It's hers. Evan stands off to the side, jaw tight, Mara hovering nearby. She looks at me once, and I swear her eyes say finish it. The committee chairwoman clears her throat for the official remarks. This year's installations speak to roots, identity, and truth. In particular, Miss Monroe's work reminds us that art cannot exist without authorship. Applause breaks out, hesitant at first, then building, wave after wave. Evan steps forward, red-faced. This is defamation. This is a smear campaign dressed up as art. And then Ruby, glorious Ruby, raises a folder high. Actually, this is documentation. She hands it to the chairwoman. Inside, the forged contract, the Dropbox logs, Mara's emails, Evan's own confession. The chairwoman scans, lips tightening. Then she looks at him, voice icy. Mr. Pierce, we will be reviewing this with counsel. Until then, Oglethorpe Holdings' sponsorship is suspended. Gasps again, this time, sharper. Evan sputters, reaching for Mara, but she steps back, leaving him grasping at air. The cameras catch everything. Later, when the crowd thins, I stand before my installation. The ink still bleeds, faint tendrils of truth etching the water. Mateo slips me a champagne flute. You did it. Ruby smirks. You burned him with beauty. I exhale, shoulders finally loosening. No, I say softly. I reclaim myself. Mara approaches once more, eyes rimmed red. She doesn't speak, only sets down her wedding ring at the base of the arch, beside the ceramic fruit. A gesture of surrender, or apology, or both. Then she walks away. I don't stop her. Weeks later, the legal dust settles. Evan withdraws, publicly disgraced. My name clears. Bookings triple. Couples say they chose me not just for flowers, but for courage. One night, I sit in the studio, sketchbook open. My hands move freely, drawing blooms without fear. For the first time in months, I feel light. Not because I destroyed him, but because I bloomed where he tried to bury me. I whisper into the petals around me, roots and reckonings. And the flowers answer back with silence, the kind that feels like peace.